Greetings, friends, foes, and neithers. Welcome to a spooky movie review. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am hosting a month-long with a couple other people this month. This is the first week of the collab. Today we will be discussing Corpse Bride. I'm a little disappointed in myself because I didn't have anything happen in time for me by the time this video is being filmed, Corpse Bride related. I do have a Nightmare Before Christmas sweater. It is kind of in support of Tim Burton. I think we're just gonna have to roll with it at this point. We are going to be discussing the movie Corpse Bride. For those of you who don't know or who have never heard of it before, you can watch it on Amazon Prime if you are signed up to watch. Corpse Bride is a stop motion animation film that follows a love story about Victor, where he has been arranged to marry this Victoria who he knows nothing about. In the opening scene, we see Victor sitting at his desk where he is scribing a picture of a butterfly. That butterfly is particularly something that we definitely need to keep our eye on because it comes back full circle later on in the movie. Throughout that scene, he releases the butterfly once he is done with it. From there, we are taken on a pan throughout the town where we see the various day-to-day life of what that town looks like. We see the shopkeepers sweeping as they normally would in that situation. I also want to note that color is a very important aspect in this particular movie. A lot of the colors resemble muted gray, not really a lot of life. The only thing that actually does have color is the butterfly that is taking the camera throughout the town. These kind of color schemes are kept throughout the whole entire movie. Then following this beautiful shot of the town, we are brought in almost immediately into a song where his parents and her parents are singing about how this wedding has to go perfect because everything is riding on this relationship. They both have some preconceived notions that this marriage is going to save them from the poorhouse, but unfortunately, unbeknownst to each family members, they do not know that neither one of them have money, as they would be. Why everything, every last little thing, every single tiny microscopic little thing must go according to plan. Our son will be married according to plan. Our family carried elevated to the heights of society. To the costume ball in the hallowed hall, rubbing elbows with the finest. So coarse. Oh, it couldn't be worse. Couldn't be worse? I'm afraid I disagree. They could be land-rich, bankrupt aristocracy without a penny to their name, just like you and me. In regards to the era that it is technically set in, which is the Victorian era, here it is very interesting to note that some sources say that Corpse Bride has been inspired from Russian lore. Others sources say that it comes from a Jewish lore. This film is so rich with color, stories. The songs have a lot to do with it. When it comes time for them to practice their wedding vows, he finds himself having a loss for words and cannot concentrate on the task at hand. You can tell just by the expressions in the face of the priest and everyone there at the altar. The priest tells him, do not come back into this place unless you know your lines by heart. Victor sets out on a lovely journey into a spooky forest. In the forest, he rehearses his lines several times and he accidentally stumbles upon a branch that looks like a hand sticking out from the ground. We go into this shot right away where it's very spooky. He finishes his vows. We see the Corpse Bride, Emily's hand, move just a little bit. From that point on, we don't really get a good look at her because she is always kept in shadow to add on to that spooky factor of what is this mysterious corpse coming out of the ground. Then it is when the mood changes and we see that she has color. She is a very specific color, bright blue lavender color, and she's also the same color pattern in the butterfly that we see earlier in the opening scene. Forward a little bit, we go to the underworld, or the downstairs is particularly what this universe, this world calls it. In
the downstairs area, we see everybody is full of life, everybody is colorful despite them being actually dead. Every one of those characters who have died have been colored specifically based on their death. Now, it is particularly believed that Emily was asphyxiated and choked to death, which is why she is a blue color. She had lack of oxygen in her body at the time of her death. We break into song with this skeleton doodads, them all singing about Emily died. Tragic of a story it really is, and it is then where we finally get to meet the villain of the story. Lord Barkis, I think. I'm really bad at pronouncing these names, but I think it's Lord Barkis. He was the one who married her and murdered her in order to take all of her fortune. And then at the end, we see that Victor and Victoria have finally found love in each other after all of the traumatic journey that they went through. Finally, as credits are about to roll, we see Emily being set free. Now, she is being set free. We can tell, we are shown this by the butterflies detaching itself and withering away from her body until it's just a group of butterflies flying straight into the moon, into the night, where she is finally at rest and can live the rest of her days. We don't really know what happens to Emily after that, or much less the other characters. Honestly, it is a beautiful story. It's also pretty creepy that I was watching this at a very young age. It had heavy topics of death. It had heavy topics of murdering. I don't know why I was allowed to watch that movie, but with that being said, it is still one of my favorites to watch. I don't particularly like romance, but when it comes to murder, happiness at the end, I am all for it. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this movie review. This was my first time doing this, so I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I will talk to you all back here tomorrow with a book review on possibly my favorite book series. So I'll see you all right here tomorrow with a new upload for SpookTober. Bye!
Give me a listen, you corpses of cheer, be still